Hi, welcome to my latest video. Well, in this one, I'm going to show you a new toy that I have. I purchased a thermal imager. It's sort of like a camera, but it's special purpose because it can actually see heat and cold. And this will come in very handy for some future projects I have in mind. Now, this particular one is from NOYAFA, and it's their NF521 model. It cost me about $140, I think, with tax. So it was a pretty reasonable price compared to ones that I looked at a few years back, which were a lot more than that. Although they do sell better models than this one. So if I show you what came in it, it came in a nice case, carry case. I wish it was black, but blue is okay. And the actual unit itself sort of looks like a scanner you would see in a supermarket or something. It has two lenses on it. One is a regular camera lens, and the other one is an infrared lens, so that it can detect the heat. So I'll turn it on by pushing the power button, which in this case is the left green button here. And it comes up, and it goes right into its default mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the screenshots on this if you wait around till the end of the video, because this thing actually has in it a SD card. It came with it, a 16 gigabyte SD card. So if I take that little SD card out, this came in it, came with it, and it's a little 16 gigabyte SD card. Obviously you can put a larger one in there if you'd like, but 16 seems to be good enough for what I'm going to be using it for. Now, the only disadvantage to this particular model is it's very low resolution. So what I'll have to do is account for that. It's got that micro SD card, so it takes a little bit of effort to push it in. My fingernails are just not that long. And it doesn't see a lot, but that's okay. I'm going to show you in a moment all the different modes that it has by putting a camera here behind it so that I can capture this, and then you'll see the actual pictures that come out of it when I actually take those pictures. You take a picture by pushing the trigger. So the trigger that comes with it right here, that will allow you, when you press it, to take a picture. Okay, momentarily hold it and it's fine. And I'll show you the screen in terms of some of the options with it in just a moment. So let's get started. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, here's the back of it. You turn it on by holding down the green button. And what I'm pointing at in the background is the other camera, right? It has a side display to it. And as you can see in here, there's one little spot off to the right here. I'll try to highlight it on the screen. And that is the little screen that's off to the side of the camera pointing in this direction. Now you really can't tell easily in this mode. The default mode just shows the heat pattern, but if we push the up arrow here, we go to another mode that's much more useful. And what it does is it draws an item around the item that it's getting the heat signature from. So it actually has a pattern around the camera itself, a little bit offset because I'm not holding it necessarily as straight as I could. But the reason I can do that is the second one, as I said earlier, is a camera. If I hit it up again, you'll be able to see what the camera sees a little bit better. So right here, you actually have the camera and the heat signature superimposed on each other. If I hit it again, you see just the camera. Okay? But I like the other mode. Let me go back, keep hitting up. That's a default, which is just the heat signature. And then here's the outline that's taken intelligently from the camera and superimposed on the picture. So with this, I can really tell where the heat is being generated from. Just keep in mind, when heat gets generated by an object, a lot of it goes into the air nearby. That's why you see such a cloud of heat around it. So this is the mode that I like using the most on this particular device. Now, in addition to that, you also have other types of heat patterns. If you hit the down arrow here, you will see other modes where it uses different color schemes. They're all defined in a little manual that comes with it for what the heat is and what the cold is. In this case, the blue is the heat. And here is the black is the heat. And then we can see the same thing with the blue again. As I keep going around the pattern, I will change to different patterns until back at the original one, which is the default, where red and yellow is the bright heat, with the yellow being the most, as indicated by the scale in the screen here on the right hand side. At the same time, if you look very carefully, there is a little X that's shown on the screen. It's kind of hard to see in this mode. It's sort of a little arrow there, and what that tells you is where the most concentrated heat is. And you can see the temperature that it's hitting up on the screen in the corner here. So 70.9 is coming off of that. So it's a handy little device, and it'll be able to help me do things in the future, such as checking for heat loss in a case, or seeing what hotspots are inside of a computer or other device that I happen to be looking at, or building or doing a review of. To turn it off, I just hold down the little green button again. And when you see a little menu come up with two choices, that means that the left button, the green one in this case, will cancel it. The right button, the blue one, will actually activate what it says is okay, in this case, turning it off. Okay, what I'm shooting here is some default pictures of the exact same opposing camera. So I'm going to click on this with the default mode. You got to hit save, which is the blue button, in order to save the picture. Now I'm going to switch it to the mode I like better, which sees the outline of the picture, and I'll take a picture of this as well. And I'm saving that. And I'll switch to the other mode, which looks at it as a regular camera superimposed with the heat. And I'll go ahead and click that picture as well, and I'll save that. That was with the screen of the other camera off. Let me switch to the final mode and just show you what it looks like as a camera, so with two cameras facing each other. And I'll save that. You can still see that it identifies the hottest part of the opposing object. Okay, just to show you some of the modes that go along with it. Now let me show you a couple of things I forgot to include earlier on in this video that came with it. We saw the case already, but it also came with a USB charger. It actually uses a USB, looks like a micro USB connector at the other end, and there's the actual plug on the side of the camera here for that particular charger. The batteries don't get changed. They are rechargeable and built into this. Not sure if you can change them or not. Obviously you could take it apart. I see screws here, and you could probably take the side cover off and change it if you ever find the need to do that. I already told you about the 16 gig micro SD, and it also has a little instruction booklet that came with it as well. Not very detailed, but it gives you the general idea of the different modes that it has, some of which I've shown you today, along with some of the other things to consider. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this in future videos of mine, at least the output from it. Maybe not necessarily within the frame of the picture, but you never know.